Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Ford Expedition Platinum 4-wheel drive. Huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this vehicle for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. They're always getting in some awesome pre-owned inventory. That link is down in the description. So this Expedition is finished off in Star White Metallic. They have a starting MSRP just over $82,000. Powering this Expedition is the 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 that is paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission. This pumps out 380 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. This is rear-wheel drive with the 4-wheel drive system. It weighs in right around 5,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds with a top speed of 113 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 23.2 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 21 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 122.5 inches. Its overall length is 210. It has a width of 79.9, a height of 76.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 9.8 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Expedition, let's start off with the chrome accents that run right through the grille and are incorporated into the headlight housings themselves. So they surround the Ford badge, which also has the integrated forward-facing camera, and they make their way to each headlight housing, as I just mentioned. So this has LEDs, of course. The DRL strip runs across the top, around, and underneath both of those trim accents, with the turn signal located right in the middle. I really like that integration. It makes it flow very nicely from side to side. There are plenty of cutouts in that grille too to provide a lot of cooling, along with the inlet in the lower section. Now this also has fog lights on both sides, so those are tucked up nicely, surrounded by some more chrome. There's some more brush trim in the lower section, 2 tow hooks along with the forward sensors, and then some great lines that come down the hood. I think it gives it a really nice design, especially for the size of this vehicle. It is very large, but everything matches and flows nicely together. Now, as we work our way to the side, this Platinum has a set of 22-inch wheels with the 6-spoke design to them, finished off in a dark color to match this white. There's the Platinum badge. We even have more of that brushed silver on the power folding side mirrors. They have a turn signal, camera, even a spotlight underneath. This does have a sunroof up top. The lower section of the window trim is finished off in black chrome. So it's a great accent to tie in nicely with the rest of the gloss black. And then as we work our way back, this is not the max trim level. So we do have the shorter wheelbase, a little bit smaller than the max, of course. So if you need that extra space, but we have a good size with this standard Expedition. It even has power folding side steps or running boards to make it easier to enter and exit, and a crisp line just above the door handles with some chrome on those door handles too. Now as we finish up in the rear, we have the body colored spoiler with the brake light along with the wiper blade. Expedition with the chrome running right through the middle of that power lift gate. This has LED taillights, the backup camera with all these sensors, and then some more of that brushed aluminum in the bumper. Now this can also tow right around 9,200 pounds. So this is a very capable toy hauler if you need that interior space too. So let's fire this up because this does have remote start. So all I need to do is lock the vehicle, double tap on this button, and it will fire right up. You can double tap this button again if you need to shut it off for whatever reason. And now with the vehicle unlocked, what I love about the rear liftgate area is that the window actually opens up separately. So there's a small triangle just in between the D and the I there to indicate there's a button there. If you push on that, then that allows you to open up the glass there. So if you have some smaller items that you need to place into the back, that allows you quick access. It's not the largest opening, but it's definitely very beneficial that this is not fixed. Now from there, to open up the rest of the liftgate, push the button up underneath or use the key fob. You cannot use the key fob to open up the glass. So that is strictly for the power liftgate. And with the third row currently up, this is the amount of space that you get. Now if you opt for the max, I believe it comes out maybe another 6-8 inches or so. It's definitely a significant difference. However, if you have this packed full of people, you can still put items in the back, and there's even a small tray underneath. So you can put a few items on one side. There's the jack and spare tire kit on that right side there. So you have a little bit of space, along with a cubby on one side, dome light on the other. Now the third row is power folding. So if I come over to the driver's side, you will see 3L, 3 standing for the third row, of course. If I just push on the top button, we can fold down this driver's side. Pushing on the bottom button, we'll do the right side. So we have L and R, of course. And they're a little bit slow, but once they are down, you have an ample amount of space if you don't have any third row passengers. So as you can tell, plenty of space. Now you can also fold down the second row, which are the captain's chairs, and they are manual to come back up. So you can push that button to put them back down, and then you do have to walk around and put them back up. But with one button, you can actually do both at the same time, which is nice. So you don't have to do them individually if you want to, of course, but you can also do them together. And then we have the automatic button up top to close that. So it's a very nice system, easily workable for that. As we work our way to the back now, the power running boards will open up, and that allows you easy access to the interior, where we have some of this brown stitching with all the leather. The release handle is nicely tucked away on the inside. A little bit of storage up top. We have a speaker, a lot more storage in the lower section, and then even a little bit underneath the armrest there. Now let's work our way to the third row. I can easily put the second seat back up. They are manual adjusting, so you can move them forwards and backwards, recline and incline. And then the lever on the side of the headrest is how you can slide the seat all the way forwards to gain better access into this third row. So at 5'10", I can easily make my way into the back, where there's plenty of room for your legs, no obstructions in the middle, so you could walk around the seats and gain access to the third row from there. And again, 5'10", I have about an inch and a half above my head, so I could be very comfortable if I had to be in this third row. It is that functional for full-size adults. We also have some cup holders, armrest with an auxiliary, and then these buttons right here actually recline the third row. So I can go all the way back, hitting this just a little bit there. Now my head is touching the headliner slightly, but it is nice that you have the option to recline these if you want to give your third row that much more comfort, which is nice. A lot of glass in the back, so you are not crammed into this third row. You definitely have a lot of space, and of course, if you opt for that max trim level, I think that gives you a lot more space behind the third row, but it might give you a little bit more for your third row passengers. Now for the second row, I can move this seat back where I have plenty of space. There's pockets behind both front seats. We even have auxiliaries in the middle, some media adjustments, and then all the climate adjustments along with the heated seat controls. A lot more storage space down below where you could place some items as needed. And for these captain's chairs, we have those adjustments on the side where you can go all the way back to be that much more comfortable. You can bring it back up, and then I have the armrest to really give you a comfortable seat. So this is really where you want to be, but you have that extra seating if you need it in the back. And then as you can tell, plenty of room right in the middle, of course, so it's very open feeling. And then the full sunroof up top there. As we move on to the driver door panel now, it's just like the rear. However, there's the memory seating adjustments, all the power adjustments for the side mirrors, window adjustments, and a lot more storage space. And then one of the Bang & Olufsen sound system speakers there. Platinum is also down on the door sill. It's also right in the middle of the seat where we have more of the leather and the orange stitching and all of the automatic adjustments. Now this is a large truck, SUV, but with that side step there, it's incredibly easy to jump into this. So if you are shorter than me, it's really not all that bad. Now we have the solid leather steering wheel. On the left side, all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, lane keeping assist, volume, and Bluetooth. On the right side, there's some more Bluetooth adjustments and tuning, and all of these are for the digital gauge cluster. So let's fire this up so we can go through the rest of that information. We'll bring that infotainment system to life as well. And with this digital gauge cluster, on the left side, there's the tach along with what gear you're in. On the right side is miles per hour. There's some fixed information both in the lower and the upper section too. In the upper section, there's fuel level, oil, and engine temperature, and some various vitals. Now looking right in the middle, using those controls on the right side of the steering wheel, I can scroll through some trip information. There's also a My View, so you can configure this and pull up what you would like to see. So as you just saw with the fuel economy and the trip information, you can check or uncheck these just depending on what you would like to see basically for your home screen. Now, if I click on menu, we were just in My View. Now you can go through some more of this information individually. So there's vehicle information, you can go into the towing. So when you do have a trailer, you can go through all this information and make sure you are ready to go. There's the navigation as well. So you can pull this up, go through all of that info, go into your phone and audio. And then the last one is settings, so you can configure those as needed. So it's got a good bit of information that you can easily scroll through right in the middle. And then as we work our way to the left side of the steering wheel, we have a lot going on. There's the pedal adjustments, so you can bring them closer or farther away. There's the e-brake, spotlights for those side mirrors, dimmer switches for the gauges, the headlight and fog light adjustments. And then we have the lift gate. And if I push on this button, that actually puts down the third row headrests. So if you need a little bit more visibility, you can quickly push on that. There's also one air vent, and then more of that Bang & Olufsen sound system right in the middle. And we have the massive vertical infotainment system. Now this is not new from Ford, but it is a really nice system to go through. If I start up top, let's push on the Expedition logo. That will bring up some controls. Let's go into the camera system. So we are currently looking at the forward-facing camera with the top-down view. If I click on these buttons, now we have a few different angles as far as the forward camera goes. We can even go to the rear facing, and then there's a hitch view too. And if I put the vehicle into reverse real quick, now we have that top-down view down below, and then you can go through a few different angles with that backup camera, just like you saw with the forward-facing camera. So it's a really nice system to have. There's some more towing, even the zone lighting. So you can use the headlights as well as the tail lights and then the spotlights on the mirrors and light them up at nighttime if you need to see a little bit better. There's parallel parking, valet mode. There's different settings to go into. You can configure a lot of information just depending on what you need to see. Even the ambient lighting, which is great to have. Now up top, if I push on those three buttons, this is basically some shortcuts to your apps. So you have radio, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your nav and phone, and you can quickly get into some of the entertainment that is available. Now back to the regular screen, it does have a split style. So currently up top is the navigation, and then right in the middle, if you scroll through these, this is where you can actually pull up that info in the upper screen. So I just pushed on Apple CarPlay, now it pops up top. I can go back to the navigation very quickly. And then in the lower section, these are all the climate adjustments. So there's the temperature. Just by clicking on plus or minus, you can pull this up. You can use those or scroll up and down, and then you can easily minimize that. And it's the same with everything else. Pulling up the heated and ventilated seats, you can just tap on these and make it disappear. There's the heated steering wheel, and then the AC adjustments, fan speed as well. Volume for the radio is right in the middle, along with your power. You can turn it on and off right in the middle. And then there's some other research, and then your passenger adjustments as well. So it's a large screen, and it gives you everything laid out very nicely to be able to go through that. Now on the left of the screen, there's the Pro Trailer system. So if you've never backed up before, this is a great system to aid you in that, along with the trailer braking system just underneath that. Now in the middle, there's the wireless charging pad with some other auxiliaries. You can close that and see the beautiful wood finish. There's also storage pockets on both sides. So if you have some thinner items, you can place them there. There are two cup holders on the passenger side that you can hide if you'd like to. And then in order to put this into reverse, simply just twist it once to the right. Now we have that camera system. There's drive. In the middle is the manual setting. So that way you can change gears as needed, and then you can go all the way back into park. Now this does have a locking rear differential, and then the four-wheel drive settings are right in the middle here. There's also different driving modes, and those will change in the gauge cluster. There's Eco, Sport, Tow and Haul. There's even mud and ruts and sand, along with slippery and then back to normal. So just depending on where you're taking this, it's really cool to see that amount of modes. Now behind that, there's a downhill assist control along with a shortcut to the parallel parking. And then for the center armrest, we have a ton of space, even a removable tray if you need to get that out of the way. And then 2 glove boxes over on the passenger side. So that gives you a lot of space for any items. There's even a 12 volt over on that passenger side too. And then up top, sunglass holder, which is very convenient. And then we have the adjustments for the sunshade, the sunroof, and some dome lights too. And a look at visibility, it is extremely open for the size of this vehicle. You have all of the visual aids that you need, especially in parking lot situations, to drive this. So now let's go ahead and get this out on the road. As we set off now behind the wheel of this $80,000 Ford Expedition, this is a lot of vehicle for your money. You have a lot of tech features. This is basically a person hauler and a toy hauler with the amount of room, the practicality that you have to tow items, as well as just being a really good daily driver. Now, I actually grew up with a Ford Expedition. My parents had one for several years, and it was really nice. It was nowhere near what they are today. That was like 10 years ago, so it was a much older Expedition, but I really, really like these newer models. This is so smooth already out on the road. It's very, very comfortable to drive. For the size of it too, it's really not that hard to drive. Now, I drive a lot of big full-size trucks and other vehicles like that, so I'm used to a large vehicle. If you're buying this, obviously you know what you're buying, and this is what you want. This is also pretty quick. We are up to speed just like that. And so it's a nice place to be. If you need something this size, there's other options out there. I'm going to make a comparison video with this Expedition and an Escalade if you want to check out that video. So you do have some other options for the full-size 3-row SUV market, but this is honestly a really good option. And let's put it into the manual setting. So now we can use plus and minus, which is located down below. No paddle shifters for this. Here we go. Surprisingly impressive for just pushing buttons down below. Can quickly put it back into drive. Now, you're mainly going to do that if you're towing or if you happen to be off the pavement and you need to hold a gear. But honestly, that was impressive to not have paddles to do it down there. You're really not doing that often, which is why they are not on the back of the steering wheel. Now, I will say, with this 10-speed automatic transmission, I've been in several Ford models that have had the 10-speed, from this Expedition to some of the Mustangs to some of the pickup trucks. It depends on the car that I've seen how the transmission reacts. So far, it seems very smooth in the Expedition. Something like a sports car like the Mustang, I really don't see it being as beneficial because depending on the level of gas you give it, it can jump very quickly. And this, kind of more laid back in a sense. You're not racing this. Like this and some of the Ford trucks, pickup trucks, I don't have any issues with the 10-speed. I think it's a good transmission to go with. Kind of gives you a little bit better MPG as far as having 10 gears to play with to keep the RPM in a low range. So just to touch on that briefly, I think it is a fine transmission for this type of vehicle. Now, driving this $80,000 Ford Expedition, it's definitely nice. You are the king of the road. This is a big vehicle, so even looking at a truck like that, you sit very high up, which of course just comes with the size of this SUV. Super easy to drive too, even for the size. It doesn't feel like a massive vehicle, and you have that camera system like I showed earlier. So this is something that if you truly need it, you'll get used to, where you can park, where you can fit, things like that. And obviously you would get used to it the more that you drive it. But it's a super nice $80,000 vehicle, platinum trim level, so you get a lot of extra goodies. But I think that is going to wrap it up for this walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of the 2023 Ford Expedition Platinum 4-wheel drive. Once again, a huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this vehicle for me today. Their link to their website is down in the description below. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.